Alright, today is Tech Thursday at Kinetic Event Productions, and today I'm bringing you a video highlighting exactly what kind of intelligent lighting we bring to the table when we do all of our events. This fixture that we're looking at right here is an Elation Platinum Spot 5R. It's used on lots of tours, it's used on lots of big lighting rigs around the country, and this is what it looks like typically when you'll see it sitting on a stage. Now, since this is Tech Thursday, we're going to be giving you a little bit of insight about what exactly it looks like when it's torn apart. So, as you can see on the left, we have a platinum spot that is fully encased. It has all of its casing on, and the one on the right that we're more interested in has an internal showing. We've actually taken the shell off. It's just two pieces of plastic that go around the outside of the housing, and we'll show you exactly how everything works inside and what everything does. So we're going to go ahead and apply power to both of these fixtures. They do get pretty loud. And now they will go through the motions of resetting and realigning all of their motors. And when they're ready, they will go back to home position. Alright, and there we have home position. That is the final position where they will start. And now I'm going to go ahead and get into my DMX program and show you a couple of the features. Now the first step to powering on these fixtures after they've gotten their mains power is to make sure that the lamps are on. So we're going to go ahead and select the lamp control. And we're using Martin Light Jockey for our controller, so we're going to go ahead and select lamp control, lamp on. You'll hear the fans increase in speed, and you'll see the lamp actually strike down there. Now these moving heads are able to pivot on their axes, so we have left and right control, as I'm showing you right here. And then we also, of course, have up and down. But what we're most interested in is all of the mechanics that go on this side of the fixture. So I'm going to go ahead and dim down the lights in here, and I'm going to go through the features one by one. Now, starting at the bottom, we have the lamp source. It uses a Philips Platinum 5R lamp. It's equivalent to about a 500 watt discharge bulb, but it only draws 160 watts of power, so it's a really cool lamp. Now it's a good time to mention that since these discharge bulbs are very powerful, it's actually not safe to be viewing the straight light from the lamp without any filters on top of it. So if you're going to be looking at any sort of fixtures without their covers on, make sure you're using protective eyewear. I'm using sunglasses right now to block the UV rays that are produced from it. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the dimmer slash shutter. This particular one uses two different flags, is what they're called. You can see they have kind of a jagged tooth on one side, and they overlap, and it allows only a certain amount of light through, so this acts as a mechanical dimmer. So when I'm dimming the lights, it's actually not dimming the bulb itself, it's just dimming the output right above the bulb. So like I said, this also acts as the shutter, and it also acts as the strobe. So the strobe effect is actually just a shutter that blinks really fast back and forth over the top of the light source. Now after the light passes through the shutter, it lands in the gobo wheel. Let's see if I can get this in focus correctly. Okay, and you see the piece with the gear on the right hand side. I'll make it rotate just a second here. So if you can see the gears that are rotating in there, it's actually the rotating gobo part of the lamp. Or that's actually the rotating gobo part of the fixture. So this particular fixture has two gobo wheels. The first one that rotates is separate from the second one that's static. So the first one that rotates is separate than the second one that is static. So I'm going to go ahead and zero out the rotating gobo. So it's going to go back into its home position. Now the next thing I can modify is the static gobo wheel, and that is the wheel that is rotating right now. So as you can see, the gobo has a set amount of patterns, or a set number of patterns, that will block out a percentage of the light in unique patterns. So before it goes through the color, it actually goes through the gobo change first. And then after the first gobo wheel, there's also a second gobo wheel. So the second gobo wheel I just activated. And again, it's the same deal. They're lined up right directly over top of each other, right after it exits the lens. So now moving further up the fixture, just to give you an idea of where we're at in the fixture, there's the top. We started down there, and now we're going to pass through right above where we were just at, and we're going to take a look at the color filters. So I'm going to zero out the gobos. They're going to go back to their home position. Let's see if I might actually be able to dim this down a little bit so we can see a little better. Okay, there we go. That is the color selection. So I can go through and select any color. It'll automatically go to a home position for each color. Or I can have it rotate very fast to give like a color strobe effect. I can do that with all the wheels actually. I can make them all go at their maximum speed, which doesn't usually serve really any purpose, but I can create some cool effects. Okay, now this next part is actually right below the color wheel. So you see right here I'm rotating the color wheel back and forth between red and white. And right below the color wheel there's actually a feature called the iris. And the iris is just a mechanical set of interwoven blades that just shrink a circle pattern around whatever gobo pattern there is. So I can exclude certain parts of the gobo if I need to narrow down the beam a little bit. I can do that variably. There's also different macros that the iris can go through. It can pulse close. So it kind of acts like a shutter almost, just much slower and more expanding. And now right above that, we have what's called the focus module, this big tube right here. And it mounts on these two silver rails. You can only see one in this image. But it allows me to remotely control the focus of the entire fixture, wherever I want it to go. Now this next part, the last part of this video, is best viewed from the front of the fixture. So let's see if I can get a good angle on here. I don't know if I can send any light through or not. I will just keep it dimmed all the way down. This particular platinum spot fixture has a prism effect as well. So the prism lands in front of the very end of the beam of light, and it allows you to create different effects with this rotating prism. And you can vary the speed, of course. And lastly, this fixture has what's called a frost filter. So it's a hybrid fixture. It allows you to go from a very sharp-edged beam to a wash fixture just by putting these two frosted plates in front of the lens. So I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight into exactly what our lighting fixtures do and how complicated they are. They're pieces of machinery that are very complex, and if you don't know exactly what you're doing, they can become a very big problem very fast, but in the right hands, these are tools for the professional to use on any sort of show, and we like to use these moving heads a lot. Again, these are the Elation Platinum Spot 5Rs, and this was Tech Thursday.